Hello and welcome to Joy News Prime. We are coming to you live from our studios here at Koko Mlimle in Accra. We are live on DSTV channel 421, and GoTV channel 125, and around the world on myjoyonline.com. I am Carlos Kaloni.
And I am Faustina. So for tonight, mounting public pressure pays off in the war against illegal mining, with government now set to declare forests and rivers national security zones, but falls short of declaring a state of emergency.
And rural bank face a wave of brazen robberies, with a shocking 10 institutions hit in just 6 months, sparking urgent questions about their security despite a major police breakthrough.
Also tonight, minority in parliament slams Ghana-US deportation deal as unconstitutional and demands immediate suspension by government, serving notice of possible legal action soon.
And in politics, former Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia gains momentum as Eastern Region MPs throw their weight behind MPP flagbearer aspirant. We are your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism.
It's a good time to take a seat and please be our guest.
Well, tonight, the mounting public pressure demanding more radical government action against illegal mining is beginning to pay off. Lands and Natural Resources Minister Emmanuel Ama-Kofi-Boah has today announced that government will be declaring all forest reserves and water bodies as national security zones. He, however, fell short of indicating when or if a state of emergency will be declared as demanded by anti-Galamsey campaigners. There's more in the following report.
Lands and Natural Resources Minister Ama-Kofi-Boah added that the decision to declare water and forest reserves as security zones marks a major shift from previous interventions and signals a tougher stance in the ongoing battle against environmental destruction.
I think the President has given us a very clear answer to that. The government has the power at its disposal to take steps to deal with this. And I think that if you had listened to me comprehensively, one is the policy reform, one is the stakeholder engagement, one is to deal with the water, one is to strengthen enforcement. All of these things that I'm talking about, why did we establish the Blue Water Guards? And now, just in the last week or so, the President has made it very clear that we are moving a step that says that all the water bodies and the forest reserves are going to be national security zones. You know what that means? It's red zone, no go. And we are now preparing to deploy permanent security forces in these areas.
While this has fallen short of a declaration of a state of emergency, which has continuously been demanded by CSOs and other bodies, other officials of the Mahama administration have backed the calls. CEO of the Environmental Protection Authority, Professor Nana Ama-Kluche, is one of them.
And in all of these things, as Erasmus said, for me, it has to go. We have to go radical.
And
it's not as if we don't have what it takes to go radical. We do have what it takes to go radical.
So what is
let me give you one simple example.
Right.
You see a site on the screen now. If you have an airplane, a military airplane, fly there and shoot 1 or 2, will they come back tomorrow? Will they not tell the other people, other miners in other sites that this is the approach and they should flee for their life? They will. So we've had election, which is a democratic election, and we got 8 people died. Some died without records and all of that. If we are really at a war, can't we do this example for people to scare off the mining site?
Civil society groups will be closely watching how this new policy unfolds, given the economic and political interests tied to Galamsey.
Well, join us for more on this is the Deputy National Director of Arocha Ghana, Darrell Bosu. Thank you so much for your time here on Joy News Prime. We've just been hearing from government tell us that they're now declaring all forest reserves and water bodies a security zone. You've been pushing for the declaration of a state of emergency. Are you at least pleased with this move?
Good evening to you as well. And yes, I'm happy to be here. But I think that, yes, we should all be very happy with what the Honorable Minister for Land has indicated. I mean, I think that you can see that, I mean, his heart is in the right place and you want to see that the right things are done. But, I mean, with this new information that government is intending to declare forest reserves and water bodies as security zones, I think that the government is getting itself involved in a very convoluted process because I don't know, for example, how long these areas are going to remain security zones and also what's it going to involve, because you just said that they are going to deploy permanent military teams to be on ground and all of that. But the question is, how long are we going to have these areas as security zones? It's a big question. Then also, when we were asking for a targeted state of emergency, you know that within a targeted state of emergency, there are actually definite timelines for which you can institute that and then also go back, review it, and then try to say that, okay, this fight didn't work, let's extend it further. Once you say that you are going to get yourself involved in now declaring these as security zones, then you ask yourself, even based on what existing legislative framework is the minister going to really hinge this particular declaration on? I think that, yes, we want to see that our forest reserves and river bodies are protected, but what is really the clear legislative framework? The only time I see security zones being used is more related to security agencies when it comes to terrorism. Yes, they have indicated that environmental terrorism involves also those who are doing the illegal mining activity. So is that the basis for which they are going to institute the security zones for forests and also rivers? Again, we also know about the energy ministry as well. When they have to protect energy infrastructure and all of that, they can do that. But what legislative framework is the minister going to hang this security zone declaration on? So I believe that we are excited about the move, but I'm asking myself, are we not getting ourselves involved in a very complex situation now?
A complex situation, you call it. A complex situation, you call it. But then we've been pushing for government to adopt a radical approach. They're deploying the military on the ground. Are you now concerned about the timelines?
No, I'm only asking whether we really have the existing legislative backing that supports me saying that forest reserves and also water bodies are now security zones. I recall the previous administration, the Minister of Land did indicate the same thing, but we know how that went. It was never implemented and all of that. There is definitely a point to ask the minister, how long are we going to keep this place as security zone? Is it indefinitely or when? So I think that is a bigger question I want to ask, because I want to make sure whatever we put in place is also working for all of us. And I don't see a clear pathway with we declaring these areas as security zones when actually we have the constitutional that will express all the that we need by having agency. So I think that they do something, but I think that let's now institute the security zone for some of these areas.
Thank you so much, Darrell, for your time here on Joy News Prime.
Meanwhile, traders and shoppers at Agbogloshi Market have expressed mixed feelings to the Environmental Protection Authority's report revealing contamination in staple foods like tomatoes, kontomire, coconut and mangoes across 6 Ghanaian regions. While some expressed concern, others dismissed the findings, insisting crops like kontomire cannot thrive in polluted soil. A stance contrasting with EPA's alarming data showing mercury, lead and cyanide presence in these foods. My colleague Noella Karani-Yali reports.
And across largest food hub, many traders and shoppers are either unaware of the report or simply don't believe it. Brighter woman, a tomato seller, hadn't heard about it.
Say what's the report? What's Oh, anyone say be kata che omo. Na sa chemicals na omo dey no omo ntwa so. Na omo fanye bi.
Others, like Ya Ekuma, had heard of the findings, but dismissed them as impossible.
Oh, yate. Yate ni ntosi die, wo ye na wo sa bia ya ho enyeyi. Ntosi bia ye ntosi de otu gold wo ha, ntosi na enyeyi.
Enyeyi say.
Ebe wukura. Ebe kunnuya ni nyina. Nti bia bia ye dua ntosi de, emme bia etu gold.
Enti fifi.
Sokra. Ebe wuntam.
For Ma Fosti, who sells contomere or cocoyam leaves, the claim is hard to believe. She insists the leafy vegetable could never grow on poisoned land.
Matibete nenye no kresa.
Ade nenye no kre.
Die metimi aka wo mu ni se. Wei enu akasa na ensuogu so a etimi fifi. Ni tam so se wote ana wate. Efri tete amani fi ye minyi ekra manya be 55. Enye no kre. Se asase a chemicals wo mu no. Kontomre ntumi fifi wo.
Okay.
Abedro ntumi fifi wo because ase ewura ni nyina ewo ho. Nti ebi ma.
Some shoppers like Beatrice Larby say, even if the food is contaminated, washing with salt is enough to remove the danger.
Me pacho me di answer me. I say me toy. Me kwa me den chinsu bede. Warm water na me den chinsu egu. Enchi egu na ma wohoro wan sana me di aye.
Away from that, Ghana's rural banks are facing a wave of brazen robberies, with 10 institutions hit in just 6 months, sparking urgent questions about their security. Now, a major breakthrough by the Ghana Police Service has brought some relief. A notorious gang behind these heists has been partially dismantled, with 10 suspects arrested and 3 killed in a fierce shootout with the police and others on the run. The Inspector General of Police, Christian Teteyonu, is vowing a relentless pursuit until all suspects face justice. Maxwell Awagwa of our security desk has more in the following report.
One by one, the suspects stepped out of the Black Maria that transported them to the police headquarters for a public parade. Some with their heads bowed, flanked by officers from the Criminal Investigations Department. On display as part of the recovered exhibits were, among other items, 14 different types of weapons. They include 3 AK-47 assault rifles, 1 single barrel gun with 1 AAA ammunition, 7 pump action guns and 96 rounds of AAA ammunition, 3 pistols with 40 rounds of ammunition, cash sum, 6 vehicles, 4 motorbikes, and different types of mobile phones and jewelries. The Inspector General of COP, Christian Teteyonu, provided details of the operation.
I'm delighted to announce that we have successfully dismantled the gang behind all these robberies. So far, we have successfully arrested 10 suspects. 3 other suspects were shot dead in the course of the operation during a shootout with the police. We have launched a manhunt for the remaining suspects who are on the run. We will not stop until we get them arrested. We were also able to recover 14 weapons, including AK-47 rifles, pump action guns, a single barrel gun, pistols, ammunition, vehicles, mobile phones, among others.
He has a warning for other robbers out there.
I would like to assure you that the police will continue to make life uncomfortable for criminal elements in our society. We will continue to pursue you till you are brought to justice. The Police Management Board have decided to promote 3 chief inspectors to the police academy. 3 inspectors to chief inspector. 2 sergeants to inspector. 1 corporal to sergeant. 3 constables. They are lucky, very fresh. They are giving Lance Corporal.
The Director General of the Criminal Investigations Department, COP leader Yako Donko, disclosed that some of the weapons retrieved from the suspects actually belonged to police personnel who had their weapons snatched. In one incident, a police officer was killed and his service weapon snatched by the gang. She has also been given details on the rural banks that were attacked, as well as the gang's modus operandi.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is worth noting that one of the AK-47 rifles marked GHGP/ASH/TEPA/TP/B1523 retrieved from this gang was a police service weapon issued to number 48034 G Corporal Francis Eduyao, then at Tepa Police District Headquarters, who was sadly attacked by armed robbers and killed on the Bibiani-Goso Highway on 29 November 2024 while he was returning from an official duty. This is an indication that this same gang committed that heinous crime. The other 2 AK-47 rifles, also service weapons, were snatched from officers who were on duty at Ecobank Ahafo Kenyasin when they were attacked by a gang of armed robbers on 8 September 2025.
Well, security analyst Dr. Victor Doke wants security to be beefed up in areas where rural banks are located.
What we can do to assist the personnel in the rural areas is either increase their numbers, 2, enforce some level of partnership with the community members, okay? Now, you can go through the chiefs, the elders in the community. You have some young, able men who are going to act as community watchdogs, helping with regards to security. And this is tied to the community policing that we have been preaching all about. We need to look at that aspect of community policing and invest more in it. So then, with the state security there, the police there, these young men will be on the lookout, monitoring, providing what? Information. And some can also be recruited as well, informants, okay, which the intelligence networks do. So with these young able guys in the community, they are friends to people. They will definitely get something, offer intelligence for the police to act on. So these are some, these 2 main things: increase the personnel in these areas and then involve the community members themselves.
Well, let's bring in Solomon Amankwa. He is the Executive Director, Association of Rural Banks. Grateful for your time. Tell us, within the last few months, how much indeed was stolen from all these rural banks?
Good evening, and thank you for having me. Indeed, we've lost a great deal, both financial and property damage. And aside that, we've also had a bit of psychological trauma for some of our staffs and customers. This arrest, indeed, it's a great news to us, and we commend the police service for this swift and professional work in arresting the suspects. I think this will send a strong signal that the law enforcement are behind us and they will protect the rural and community banks.
You said you've lost a lot of things, I believe including money. Do you have an idea how much may have been lost?
Not entirely, but it's quite substantial. We don't want to estimate the amount of money we've lost, but it's substantial.
Right. Beyond that, what internal security measures are the rural banks yourselves you're putting in place to ensure that you're able to control or reduce the recurrence of these robberies?
So we've invested in a lot of security measures in our local area where we operate. We've tightened collaboration with the police service in our localities, and so we are on their response one in every community in the where we operate. We've also invested in CCTV cameras. We've tightened security. We've upgraded and build the capacity of our staffs to be very vigilant and also to be on the lookout for suspected people. In fact, we've beefing security around where we operate, and we've invested in CCTV, we've invested in a lot of, we've upgraded a lot of our gadgets to be security conscious.
Solomon Amankwa, we are grateful for your time.
Thank you.
Away from that, let's head now to Parliament, where the minority is accusing the Foreign Affairs Minister, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, of breaching the Constitution by signing the deportation deal with the United States without parliamentary approval. Under the deal, Ghana received 14 West African deportees, later sent them to their home countries, with 40 more expected to arrive in the country in coming days. A legal challenge by 11 of the 14 was dismissed, but the NPP MPs warn the agreement could spark serious diplomatic fallout. James Avechi has more in the following report.
Ghana's decision to receive some 14 West African national deportees from the United States of America have generated public debate in the last few days. The justification from the Foreign Affairs Minister Okudzeto-Ablakwa has been that government acted on the advice of the Attorney General, as they believe an agreement between the two countries does not need parliamentary ratification before they execute.
Our decision is grounded purely on humanitarian principle and Pan-African solidarity, to offer temporary refuge where needed, to prevent further human suffering, and to maintain our credibility as a responsible regional actor.
By speaking to the media in Parliament, the ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee, Samuel Abujinapo, said the move by government does not only violate the 1992 Constitution, but also a Supreme Court ruling that demands that all agreements between Ghana and other countries must be ratified by Parliament.
The government's conduct in operationalizing the agreement with the United States without parliamentary ratification is a direct constitutional violation of Article 75 and an affront to the authority of the Supreme Court. It is therefore deeply concerning that the government continues to operationalize the agreement with the United States despite these flagrant constitutional breaches. To associate Ghana with such policies could have several negative implications for our country, particularly within the African continent.
The minority is demanding that all such agreements be halted immediately until they are brought to Parliament for ratification.
We therefore reiterate our call on the government to suspend with immediate effect the unconstitutional implementation of this agreement until Parliament has duly exercised its constitutional mandate to scrutinize same and ratify it or otherwise.
Another major issue has been government statement condemning Israel's attack on Palestine and Gaza. The minority said this is against international agreements that forbid countries from taking position in matters like this. They are warning that this could bring serious international implications on Ghana.
By describing the events in Gaza in absolute terms and aligning the country explicitly with one side in a highly polarized conflict, the government risks compromising the delicate balance that has long safeguarded Ghana's credibility as an impartial actor on the international stage.
The minority said they will insist that the right thing is done, as they have not ruled out a possibility of going to court. Nana Asafwaje is ranking member on the Foreign Affairs and Regional Integrations Committee in Parliament.
Will you go to court?
Well, the minority will take that decision. But to speak now, I'm aware, I've heard a few people made attempts to instruct their lawyers to go to court on this matter. Minority will take a decision. We've taken the first step. We are waiting for the response from government and the minister, and then we will know the next action to take.
This is the take of security expert Victor Doke on the matter.
If the MOU had not imposed a financial obligation on Ghana, then you could say that it's no big deal. But in this current state, it imposes financial obligation, it imposes some obligations on Ghana. So the right thing for the government to do is to present the agreement before Parliament, so that there's a proper ratification of discussion and ratification of the agreement. And then that gives it a more legal ground to stand on.
It is now left to government to take a decision as to whether or not they will bring this agreement with the U.S. to Parliament for some ratification and a response to the position of the minority on the implication of our position in the Israel-Palestinian war. From Parliament here in Accra, I am James Savage for Joy News.
Well, to some politics now. Former Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is riding a wave of momentum in the NPP flag bearership race, particularly in the eastern region, where 15 out of 23 MPs have thrown their weight behind him. The show of support includes prominent figures like Kojo Oponkroma, Frank Anodon-Press, Samir Uku, and Michael Ochebefi, signaling a strong endorsement of Dr. Bawumia's leadership capabilities. Now, Chelsea MP Kingsley Ahinkra Mafo emphasized Bawumia's qualifications, marketability, and ability to unite the party and secure victory in 2028.
Our purpose to endorse the candidature of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia for the flag bearership of the NPP for the 2028 elections. We are doing so because we are clear in our minds that Dr. Bawumia is the best candidate to lead us to victory in 2028 elections. Having been well marketed and having served as Ghana's most impactful vice president, he is the best option politically and policy-wise to win us the elections. Secondly, he is a candidate who demonstrates the characteristics that Ghanaians want in their next leader: humble, effective, and embracing all persons. We need a leader who unites and not one who divides. Finally, after all the propaganda heard against the NPP in 2024, it is becoming clear day by day that Bawumia was right in many of the things he proposed. Now is a time that more Ghanaians are warming up to this idea. Changing him will be setting ourselves back by another 16 years. We have the committed and will work hard for him across the region and encourage all party members to firm in their resolute to support his candidature.
Still on the NPP aspirant Brian Champong is responding to criticism over his jabs at fellow flag bearer aspirants. Speaking to reporters after his vetting, Brian Champong said he will continue taking aim as long as the campaign runs.
There have been a few jabs, and I think there will be a couple more. We are embarking on a campaign. I mean, I will be hit. Others will be hit. It's part of the campaign. It's normal in our politics, except that wisdom must be applied for you to know the line beyond which you are infuriating somebody. That will make unity post-election difficult. But the regular jabs of pecking people's faces, those ones will happen. We just have to make sure that we don't poke the eyes, and that will become a problem.
Well, you're still watching Joy News Prime with me, Carlos Caloni, and of course,
Faustina Safo will be back after this quick turn. Please stay tuned in.
welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us here on Joy News Prime.
To other stories now, numbers at the National Resolution Center to address the 2025 SHS placements dropped today compared to Tuesday's chaos, but frustrations persist. The Free Senior High School Secretariat credits the decline to districts and regional centers absorbing the pressure. Meanwhile, the parents and students are urged to accept placements to further ease congestion. Stephen Mensah reports from the NAT Hall.
And desperation etched on the face of Millicent and her father. Millicent's school placement remains in limbo.
They have not told us anything, but they said we should wait.
And as to the time you should be waiting, they didn't tell you?
What did he tell you to bring when you're coming here?
He said we should print my grade and the school I got.
And what grade did you get?
I got 16.
And what school are you planning on changing to?
Ghana National.
But Millicent is not alone. At the School Placement Resolution Center, hundreds of anxious parents and students throng the facility each day, desperately seeking answers.
And someone will get about 18. Then he will get a school. Then the one who had the 10 will not get a school. I don't think it's fair at all. They have to find a proper way of arranging for those things. It's not proper. I don't know how the computer is being now in the external.
Yes, I was here on Friday for the change of school. And up to this morning, it hasn't been infected. So I found myself around here, decided to check. So I was told they're going to wait till the end of the week.
I'm here for school for my child. I need school for my child. We printed our grade, but when we go to the net, we didn't get any school for him for the replacement. So I decided to come here and then check whether I can get replacement for my son. That is why I'm here.
But the deputy coordinator of the Free SHS Secretariat, Dr. Belinda Glover, says the large numbers reflect growing dissatisfaction among families with the schools they have been posted to.
We have been able to contain the crowd, and then we have been able to address the needs of most of the parents that have been around. I would say that the majority of the parents that come here have been placed. Just that most of them want to go to the so-called best schools.
And while education officials insist the system is working, the long queues and hours of waiting tell a different story. For Joy News, Stephen Menson's report.
Now, Volta region recorded 54 cervical cancer cases between January and September 2025, adding to nearly 500 cases reported since 2016. Alarmingly, 7 in 10 are detected at advanced stages, leaving survival chances slim. The Ghana Health Service is warning of rising cases and urging girls aged 9 to 14 to join the national HPV vaccination campaign from 7th to 11th October. Fred Kwame-Asari reports.
Cervical cancer is caused by an infection with certain high-risk types of human papilloma virus, HPV. The virus is transmitted through any skin-to-skin contact of the genital area, vaginal, anal, or oral sex. It is the first most frequent disease diagnosed in females between 15 and 14 years, where cancerous tumors start developing around the cervix. Hectoria Awikia is the acting Volta Regional Deputy Director of Public Health of the Ghana Health Service.
So the cervix is like the entrance or the tip of the uterus. So any abnormal growth there that we detect to be cancerous, okay, at the entrance of the uterus is what we are terming cervical cancer. So we can pick it very early by screening. And if you don't screen early and you come with symptoms, then most of the time we are not able to really give you the kind of care that we need. So we are preventing primary prevention through the vaccination, secondary prevention through screening, and then early detection, and then tertiary prevention is when they have had the disease and we have to now try and prevent them from manage it, prevent them from dying.
In light of this, the Ghana Health Service aims to introduce the HPV vaccine into routine immunization following the success of a pilot HPV vaccination campaign in 2013. This would be preceded by a nationwide campaign which would start on the 7th of October and end on the 11th of October 2025, targeting young girls between 9 and 14 years. The Volta Regional Secretariat of the Ghana Health Services has begun engaging stakeholders to prevent incidents of vaccine hesitancy.
It's important for us to have this HPV vaccination because we are targeting the prevention of cervical cancer. Cervical cancer is preventable. It is the second leading cause of cancers and mortality or death among women in Ghana. So if there is a vaccine that can reduce that risk, it's very good that we get on board. And so we are happy to all the sponsors, including Ministry of Health, Govt, and all other people that have ensured that at this particular time we are getting this vaccine for young ladies.
Parents, guardians and community leaders are advised to encourage young girls between the ages of 19 and 14 years to take the HPV vaccine to protect them against cervical cancer. Fred Kwame Asari, Joy News. Ho.
Away from that, government is taking a significant step towards protecting its women from cervical cancer, the country's second most common cancer and a leading global health threat. A nationwide human papillomavirus vaccination campaign is set to be rolled out from October 7 to 11, 2025, targeting over 2.4 million girls aged 9 to 14. The Ghana Health Service is collaborating with UNICEF, the World Health Organization, and religious leaders to ensure a successful campaign. Mamavi Sefa Kote has more in the following report.
Ghana is uniting against cervical cancer with a powerful collaboration between prominent faith-based organizations and government agencies. The Ghana Pentecostal and Charismatic Council, Office of the Chief Imam, and the Tijaniya Muslim Council have joined forces with the Ghana Education Service, Ghana Health Service, and UNICEF to support the nationwide human papillomavirus HPV vaccination campaign. UNICEF Country Director Osama Makawi Kogali emphasized the crucial role of faith leaders in championing the campaign.
There are several messages here. One, provide them to let them know that there will be a campaign on this date. Second, we are calling upon them to reaffirm to the people that these vaccines are safe. Third, we are also asking them to make sure that they use this platform to inform the people and encourage them to come.
The General Secretary of the Ghana Pentecostal and Charismatic Council, Apostle Emmanuel Tete, pledged to rally his members behind government's vaccination drive.
Let's make ourselves available so that we go through this vaccination. It's something that will help us in our communities, in our families. And we have been explained to that there is no negative side effect by way of affecting birth rates.
Aide to the Office of the National Chief Imam, Dr. Muhammad Mazouk, described the initiative as a civic duty, promising full Muslim community support.
We see it as a civic responsibility and, of course, a collective duty to make sure that we support it very well, emphatically, so at the end of the day, everybody will benefit. What we want to emphasize is that the secular community and the religious community are pursuing the same goal, perhaps from different perspectives.
With cervical cancer ranked as the second most common cancer in Ghana and the fourth globally, the push for information dissemination is critical. Religious leaders are being positioned as the first point of contact to reach millions of girls within the target age group and ensure their participation in the nationwide vaccination exercise. Mamavi Sefa Kote's report, read to you.